Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul. Here I'm going to show you how to convertible conversion as far as cutting the roof off and how I like to do it. And I'm going to do it to two of them here because one of them is my 64 Chevelle Malibu SS here. This is the one sponsored by Hobby Nut Models. And I've decided that you guys really want to see a convertible conversion. Many of you do, not everybody, but it doesn't appeal to everybody. But I'm going to go ahead and do it to this one. And this is one that's been waiting in the wings. It's a resin 64 GTO AMT from Model Haas, no longer in production. And I've had it a while. I was restoring one when I first started my channel 3 or 4 years ago. And then I ran into this one when I was looking for an actual resin hood scoop for that one. But I bought this one. Now, it did have a broken A-pillar right here. You can kind of see where it was re-glued. Um, a little worried about that. And when you do a convertible conversion on a resin body, it makes it more riskier to flexing, and resin is a little bit more brittle sometimes and can break easier because of it, which is why I get a little hesitant about cutting a resin one into convertible versus a styrene. So that's what I'm going to do here. But these are literally the same cars, going to be the same cut. They're both A bodies, they're both convertibles, and they're both the same generation being, they're both 64s. So you saw the 65 I've already done. So this is pretty easy going. However, one main difference is here. The AMT kit, its interior, and a lot of the interiors back then, they were the promo style interiors, and they already have the dog legs for the convertible. So once the boot fits, I really don't have to do anything to the interior. So that should be, pretty good there. And then this should just come up a little bit. So sometimes you got to make this a little thicker, but we'll see. You won't know until you cut this off, but you got to cut it off, smooth it down, and pretty much where that lip is right in here, pretty much get it flattened down to that. So we'll see how this one comes out. And this one's the same way, although this one's got the pegs for the windows and stuff. And I'm going to get close to those, and we'll find out how the windows fit at another time. Now, there's a couple of ways to mark where you're going to cut it. You can use masking tape, put it across. I prefer a Sharpie. It's just personal preference here, and I'll just go and pretty much, eyeball it exactly where I want it to go. Like my initial cut be something like this, or even just straight across. And then I'll be just a tad high. I'll just go right like that. Okay. Pretty much that'll be what I do there to give you an idea. And it'll be a little bit high, but I'll cut it off initially with this right here on my Dremel, and then knock it down or shape it with this. And that'll be pretty much the rough cuts. So let's mark this one. There we go. This one I'm definitely going to leave a lot there as far as, and then shave up to with the other one, just because of how brittle this can be. And I'm doing real light pressure because if it grabs the roof, it'll twist it. And definitely on a low speed. So let's start here. At least with resin, when you're cutting it, it doesn't melt. Okay. Now with all the resin dust and everything, it's a good idea to have a respirator mask on. There, I just ruined my priceless model house kit. Just getting an idea. And let's see how far this needs to go down. Not bad at all. Let's do the same to this one. I see how different plastic cuts versus resin. The plastic melts and it'll grab. But no dust. Try not to slip and nick any other parts of the body. Easier said than done. There we got 2 hacked off roofs. And then where the plastic is, let it cool and harden and you can just split it right off. Where it melted, you can kind of see all right there. But it should just come right off. Surprisingly, pretty far away from those pins. And even where the marks are, you can see the black. There's no lines here. Which is funny because in a lot of convertibles, they're actually filled in with lead. And on coupes, they're usually there. But let's see, this one doesn't have it either. But this one, this interior tub is made like more like a traditional one with the actual coupe back seat, not a convertible back seat. So this will require the dog legs and maybe some work on the seats, whether I just flatten the tops and just create the dog legs. We'll see which way I go on that. Now I'll switch to this. And then I use this to flatten this down a little bit more. And I'll just get that lip down a little bit all the way around. Not the best time to get shaky hands. But what you can't see is I'm resting this hand on the table and then bringing the body to it. All right. All right. So that gives me an idea where it's going to be at. And then if I put this on here, okay, that's really close. Flatten it just a little bit more. Okay, so that's roughing it in pretty good. Getting it fairly flat so you can see what's going on back there. Okay, rest of that I will sand flat with my file. Just thin it out there. But I can keep going with it. And if you start to get nervous about getting hit in the trunk, put some masking tape over it that way. That'll help. And now we'll work on this. Let's see here. And that's just inside the peg, so pretty pleased about that. And then when I start doing the body work, I'll work this a little bit better, but I like the way that's shaped up right there. All right. All right, so there's all the rough cuts done to this body. And then we'll be working that. All right, now let's do this one. It's funny, you can see how much flatter this windshield is. compared to this one. This one curves a bit more and this one's a bit flatter. But if I do break this, I have the 64 Olds convertible kit from AMT that I can swap the whole windshield frame and everything to. Since this one was already broken, I kind of was prepared for that. But if I can do this without damaging it, then I'll be really happy. Very, very light pressure. Just letting the rotary tool do its work. Pretty happy with that. Now let's see about doing this. And one of the things I'm doing here also is I'm tilting this in this way so that it's more inwards and try not to nick the quarter panel here with it. Just realized I do that, but I'm not explaining it. All right. Look at that. You can see some of the grind marks right there, so I definitely need to smooth some of that out. But I really like the way this one's coming out. This one, and it's nice and flat, really nice and flat. So a little bit of body work to that. We'll get it all cleaned up. Just got to make sure the interior is in the right spot. So there's where the holes are. Nice. Really pleased with that. So now the next step for me so the next step for me is going to be remove this seat and try and keep as much of this the sides as possible, and see how I'm going to graft them into this interior tub. So I'm just going to cut them out and glue them in there, or possibly narrow the seat and do it. Be really fun to narrow that seat though. But I think first step will be, let's remove this seat. Well, how does it fit if I did it this way? Okay. Kind of did that from the back side. Let's do it a little differently. Trying to be careful and figure out exactly what angles to go at where I can get in there and cut it. So that's all loose. Well, there, it's kind of rough cut getting that seat out, but I can sand it and get it much closer to the edges here. A couple of different ways to do that, but give you a real close look. Ouch. Plastic is hot. Let it cool. You see how it's stretched? Okay. You can see I'm getting it close to the edges here. Just cleaning it up. The idea is to get it where you need it and not really stress too much about it, as you can slowly work your way to it. But due to time constraints and the length of this video, I'm going to stop right there and continue on, but I'll figure out how I'm going to do all of this. But I think I'm just going to basically add that to it, just thin it all out so I can just slide it in there and glue it in place. But that's the idea and the thoughts at the moment. We'll see how the rest of it goes, but I got to clean up here and continue on, but we'll stop right here at the moment on this video. So you guys, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, all your comments and everything. I really do appreciate it. And you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.